Hi everybody. I just wanted to quickly chat through something that I think that we should all think about just before we start our coursework or start typing up reports or something else for coursework. So what I've got here is some text from an original source. So what I'm saying is I've gone to something like BBC News website. I've read an article and I've got this piece of text here. Greece is suffering as a result of high borrowing costs. So my first example is down here. So what I've done is, in my report, I've taken this phrase here, but I've changed it. I've changed it to Greece is under pressure as a result of the high borrowing costs. So if you like, these words are different to this word here. So I've changed the sentence. And the question for you is this plagiarism? If I put this in my report, is it plagiarism? And the answer is yes. Most of the words are someone else's, and I'm pretending someone else's words are mine. Okay, but we can do something else to try and get rid of this kind of plagiarism risk. So this is my second example. Greece is under pressure as a result of high borrowing costs. So I changed these words again. Under pressure is different to the source, different to suffering, but also I've put in a little number 1. So this is my reference. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom of this, I've put in a kind of a references section at the end. And I've got this number 1 here, and then it's got the author name, it's got the name of the article, BBC News site is where it's come from, and I could put in the HTTP address for that article. So, question is this plagiarism? And the answer is, just switch on my red text, yes. The reference doesn't help as we are still pretending someone else's words are ours. So, you know, like if when you submit coursework, what the lecturer will see is a kind of an electronic report that colours in parts of your report if it matches other stuff. So, for instance, it would colour in Greece is, and sorry, one sec. Colour in Greece is, and it would colour in. It's not quite right. Colour in as a result of high borrowing costs. So the lecturer sees that that colouring in stuff, and the reference doesn't help. So you might be asking why. Let's have a look at this example 3. Greece is suffering as a result of high borrowing costs. So here, this text matches exactly this text up here. Greece is suffering as a result of high borrowing costs. So all of this text would be highlighted for the I can't work this, can I? All this text would be highlighted for the lecturer to have a look at. However, it's indented There are quotation marks here, and it's got the reference here. So what you're saying to the reader is, these are definitely somebody else's words, and they are exactly somebody else's words. And the person whose words they are that little number. So is this plagiarism? No. By indenting, using quotation marks and including a reference, I make clear to the reader that these words are not mine. So even though the lecturer sees this coloured in red, it doesn't matter. You can't be accused of plagiarism if you do a quote in this kind of way. Okay, my next example, example 4. The cost of government borrowing in Greece is high, so Greece may default on its debts. Oh, and actually, let's put in little number 1 as well. Is this plagiarism? So the answer here is no. I have used my own words. I have used the idea from the source, but also my own ideas, and I have referenced the source of one of the ideas. So none of this would be coloured red. It isn't a close enough match to anything in this bit up here. But I have used an idea from this. You know, Greece is suffering as a result of high borrowing costs. That's part of the idea that I've used to construct cost of government borrowing in Greece is high, so Greece may default on its debts. So this is kind of maybe an idea from somewhere else, or maybe a different article, maybe my own head. This is maybe something that's come from the source. This is the reference here. If really it's just the first bit that's the source, maybe I put the number 1 in there instead. So what's the point of all this? The point of all this is that many students think that they can take this, change just a couple of words, and it won't be plagiarism. And this gets them into trouble. Plagiarism is really dangerous because you can get 0 for coursework or 0 for a course, or you might not be allowed to graduate. But almost worse than that is there's a time period whilst it's investigated. You know, and that time period can be many weeks. So you can be under stress, not knowing whether you're going to face a penalty or not, because you have to wait a number of weeks to find out, and you just don't want to go through that. So the best thing is to really avoid all of this kind of thing. Try and do either the quotation approach, or even better, just write in your own words. If you're concerned about your English and whether your English is good enough, don't be. The important thing is that in university the reader can understand what you mean. It doesn't matter if the grammar is slightly wrong or the words are slightly in the wrong order. That's hardly going to cost you any points at all, if any. And the thing that's going to gain you marks is rewriting in your own words. So that's definitely what you should be doing pretty much everywhere. Sometimes the impact of a quote is higher on the reader than the impact of your own words. And so sometimes you do want to kind of use a quote. But I would do this in some places, not all places. This is how you want to be doing most of the writing in any of your courseworks as you go through university. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Good luck in the coursework.